What's the current energy of the Black community emotionally? What's the current collective energy? Please assist me in this reading. God of the Most High, please assist me in this reading. What's the current energy of the Black community emotionally? We have the Two of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, Ten of Wands. Let me scoot these down. I'll be forgetting that. Okay, interesting. And then we have the Five of Wands in the reverse. I like this energy. I like this energy. You know what? Black people are actually starting to come together. They're actually starting to come together. Slowly but surely. And you know what? I think that it's because of the administration. You know what's happening to Black people under the administration? They're starting to come together. They're starting to help each other out more. You see, the Three of Cups talks about, you know, companionship and friendship and connections, emotional connections. You know, they're finally starting to see each other as brother and sister in Christ. And the conflict is dying out. The Five of Wands in reverse. The conflict is dying out. It's a slow process, but I feel like they're starting to invest in themselves more. Like invest in their own communities and businesses as well, coming together to form better businesses or businesses of their own. Excuse me. Some Black people are thinking about leaving corporate America, or they're getting laid off. I'm not sure, but I just heard something about corporate America. I do see that collectively everyone feels overwhelmed with the Ten of Wands here. It talks about burden, hardship. But I do feel like in the midst of all of that, conflict is dying down and people are actually starting to come together. I like that. I like that energy a lot. Okay. Okay. What about energetically? What is the current energy in of the Black community energetically? Like, oh, should I say spiritually? Spiritually. We have the Eight of Cups, the Knight of Coins, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eight of Pentacles. You know, a lot of Black people are not really diving into their faith as much as they could. And I think it's because, you know, their obligations to the 3D realm, work and having to battle with, you know, their president and fighting for justice. And I do think that spiritually Black people are binded. And they're not really asking for guidance as much as they could, or diving into their faith as much as they should. Whatever they believe in. I know Black people, you know, believe in different things. I think there's a feeling here of Black people needing to, I mean, of course, here's the showy people, right? With the Six of Wands here. Here's the showy people, like, you know, the pastors and the mega church pastors and, you know, people who dive into their faith for show. But I think spiritually, Black people need to work harder to get in Spirit's good graces on a collective level. I'm not saying that there isn't any Black people that are in Spirit's good graces, because there are. But on a collective level, I feel like there's still work that needs to be done. I don't think that Spirit is pleased with Black people on a collective level. Interesting. What cycles are Black people conscious? Okay. What cycles are Black people consciously repeating? What cycles are Black people? You have the Page of Swords. You have the Knight of Cups. You have the Six of Wands. The Knight of Coins and the Eight of Pentacles. This gives prejudice. You know, I was gonna write an article about this. This is the energy that is giving. Black people wanting validation. I was gonna write an article about this because I feel like it needed to be said, and it was gonna be a part of the corruption of the Black community series. But it's like, Black people want validation so bad, right? And it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you dress, how you decide to put yourself together. People are gonna feel how they feel about you regardless. And what inspired me to want to do that article was the whole bonnet, debate. It's like, oh, y'all need to stop wearing bonnets out in public, and I'm just like, why? It's like to try and control someone's perception of me. It's like, I don't wear a bonnet out in public. I mean, personally, that's not my personal taste, but I'm not gonna knock a sister for doing so, or even a man. Like, I've seen boys wear bonnets to school. Like, like, I feel like the boys wear more bonnets to school than the girls do. The girls be wearing scarves, but bonnet, the girls be wearing scarves, and I don't too much like that look either, right? But it's like, I get it, it's unprofessional, but it's like, y'all are operating in this energy of trying to feel validated by other people, and it's like, people are gonna feel how they feel about you regardless. And I was taught this too growing up. It's like, you have to dress a certain way, you have to act a certain way. Y'all, I live in a community where there's mostly Asians, and guess what? And of course, there's this unspoken pressure, amongst us, like, okay, we need to act civilized, because we're, at a place, kind of, sort of, right? And it's like, it's a safe neighborhood, suburban, and it's like, but I'm just like, and guess what, y'all? I still walk down the street. I take my nightly walks, 2 in the morning, and I be on the phone loud as hell, talking on the phone, because I don't care. Like, I don't care. And I'm so glad that I broke myself with those chains, because it's like, again, they're gonna feel how they feel about you regardless. Guess what? Even when I am walking down the street being civilized, I still get stared at. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Damned if you don't. You might as well live your life. You might as well do you. At least you could say that you didn't push down who you were to appeal to other people. And it's like, I feel like there's a feeling here of wanting to be validated. And Black people lose themselves. We lose ourselves when we consciously try to feel validated, do things to try and feel validated. Even all the way down into the workplace with the 8 of Swords here. It's like, Black people really be shutting up and eating their food. Like, they just be taking, look at this, look at how this person is just looking down, and then it's like their head is covered, and this is the 8 of Pentacles. This is the work, wait, 6, oh shit, this is the 7 of Pentacles. My bad, sorry, this is the 7 of Pentacles. And also, Black people are waiting on a change. But little do they know, and great segue, little do we know, we are the change, We have to take it upon ourselves, and I'm glad that we are, because in the energy check, I just saw that we are coming together, and we're starting to pour in ourselves more. But there's still a good amount of Black people that are relying on the government to administer some sort of change, and you have to be the change. I hate to break it to you, Black people, but you have to be the ones to stand up and fight. Y'all are too loud about the wrong things. Y'all are too loud about the wrong thing. And I might step on people's toes when I say this, but let me tell you something. When that Roe versus Wade shit was going on, I kid you not, bitches was sprawled out on the downtown Los Angeles streets, stopping traffic, and they were protesting. And it's like, those women were all black and white Asian women alike. They was out there, okay? They was out there putting their life on the line, okay? I was like, they endured so much, but it took Roe versus Wade for them to start fighting. And it's like, that's ridiculous. It's like, that's where y'all draw the line. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And I get it, right? As a woman that has a coochie, I get it. I don't want no one to police my body. But at the same time, that's not where I'm going to draw the line. That's not where I'm going to draw the line. That's weird. That's awful. And I feel like the same thing could be applied to Black people. Just like, where do we draw the line? I forgot what point I was trying to make, but let's get to the next one. What is the root of colorism within the community? The Black Dahlia flower. I feel like this does go back to slavery times, and also, like, the paper bag rule and things as such. Okay, so it does say here 1972 to 1990. So on this card right here, if y'all can see, My camera won't focus. Or am I tripping? It says here, y'all, I did my own nails. Like, it says 1972 to 1990. Whoever the hell Garrett Gates is. I haven't heard that name before. Anyways, that time period could be significant. I think that's when Jim Crow had started or stopped. I think when it stopped around that time. I think the social constructs centered around lighter skin, and even, you know, all the way down to slavery times when the lighter skinned people got treated better, most likely because they were mixed. I feel like people saw that, and also, you know, conditioning of the mind, like when it came to advertisements, you know, when you know, people started watching TV and getting their own money to invest in products. And it's like, I feel like media had a big part to play in it as well during this time period, 1972 to 1990. And I feel like just the stigma, you know, surrounding white is right or white is better is what birthed these colorist, you know, these colorist ideals and such. I do have a question. Will colorism ever end? Will colorism ever end? King of Wands. You know, I think it's mostly the men. I think it's mostly the men that drive colorism. I think once the men's mentality changes, then colorism will be, you know, demolished. It's possible, but I mean, it's possible. I think on a larger scale, yes. I think on a larger scale, yes. Do I still think that some colorist people will exist? Absolutely. But I think it's the men. Like, it's the men. And once the men are put in their place, then I do feel like that colorism could be demolished completely. But it's the men. It's the men. And look, you see how they're draped in this damn look. Interesting. Look at this. It's like they're both wearing white gowns, but then this one right here, the King of Swords, this one, and the King of Swords, he's mean, right? He's very mean. He's cold. He's draped in this white, but then his cape is black on the outer part. These men don't like being black. That's where it comes from. And this might not be news to some, you know, but these men, they don't like being black. And so they use their male privilege to be positioned in these places of power, and then they reinforce their anti-blackness. It's crazy. What's the stains? Internalized anti-blackness. What's the stains? 6 of Wands. Media. Yep. Media. And again, it's like, y'all, like, people have grown accustomed to living a certain way for so long. It's like when you try to abruptly end racism or colorism, it's like black people included, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. That's just regular psychology. I actually just recently did a reading on Mexico, and it's like, yes, the elemental leader is gone, but it's like, and he was protecting Mexico, and it's like, people have grown accustomed to living under his rule for so long that they're not ready for the shift to take place. They think they are free, and they think they want to be free, but it's like, they had no idea how much the leader of Mexico was protecting them, even though he could have been harsh, even though that he inflicted stress and anxiety on the citizens. It's like, y'all have no idea how much y'all don't understand the method to his madness, is what I'm trying to say. And it's like, because we're so used to colorism and racism by now, y'all. And it's like, can black people really handle it being gone? Like, even now, take now for example, slavery has been gone, you know, we're free, we can own our own property, we can get our own jobs, we can own our own bank accounts. But it's like, here I am as a Gen Z sitting and doing this reading, and I tell you, people are still operating in that slave mentality. You're treating lighter people better because their proximity to whiteness. Even though you can very much so work to get the same opportunities they have, but you value the very close proximity to whiteness, like back then. And it's like people have grown accustomed to a certain way of thinking for so long that they don't know what to do once they don't have to think that way anymore. That's just regular psychology. Does that make sense, y'all? What shadow patterns are we avoiding? What shadow patterns is the Black community avoiding? I feel like it has to do with our self-esteem, our self-worth, believing that we deserve more. Yeah, and also Black people need to do ancestry, like a genealogy sort of thing, so that they can understand where they come from. Because there's a lot of truths that we don't know about our ancestry. Let me tell you something. My sister took it upon herself to do a genealogy project on our family, and I don't have African ancestry. Well, I do, but my ancestors, when my ancestors got captured, they weren't from Africa. They were from the Virgin Islands, and I wouldn't have known that because, again, I was taught in school that I most likely came from African ancestry, and I did, but that wasn't where it started. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, but they want us all to think that we all came from Africa, and we didn't. We didn't. We didn't. So yeah, and then people need to understand where they come from. And knowledge, Spirit is saying knowledge is power. Once you understand where you come from, you're gonna get your things. You're gonna get your things. Spirit, oh, okay, thank you, Spirit. Spirit is saying that that's where your real reparations come from. Some of y'all own property that was seized. Some of y'all rightfully own property. Like, you're the rightful owner, and it was seized because some white person got it first. They might be related to you, but some white person got it first. And now here you are struggling, trying to figure out where your next meal comes from. And it's like, Spirit is saying y'all need to get your things. Y'all need to get your things. And it's like, there's so much wealth that the Black community is owed, and your reparations are not supposed to come from the government. Y'all need to take it upon yourselves to research yourself and see what things are owed to you and get them. Spirit is saying that's where it's supposed to start. Thank you, Spirit. Are we moving towards healing or deeper division? Are we moving towards healing or deeper division? Ten of Wands, the Death card. Yeah, I do feel like we are healing towards, I do feel like we are healing as a collective. We are. Yeah. But, there's so many micro subgroups. There's male-centered women, and then leads to femicide. And then there's it's the men. It's the fucking men. It's the men. It's the men. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything, and I'm not trying to come for the men, but I'm seeing clearly in the cards, it's the fucking men. I'm serious, y'all. Most of the Black community's conflict and racism and anti-Blackness, it all boils down to the men. This is fucking great. It's the men. The men are the curse. In the words of Wendy Williams, death to all of them. It all boils down to a man. It doesn't matter what sector. A man. A man. And the men hold the women's mind and self-esteem in captivity. And it's like a lot of the Black women are male-centered. I'm saying it. It's the fucking men. And if the men cease to exist, then women gonna start to think more clear. I'm just telling you what I see in the cards. It's the fucking men. Listen, the BBC ain't that good to where your spiritual well-being is at stake. I'm sorry. I'd rather pick my spiritual well-being than a big dick. I'd rather pick my spiritual well-being. But whatever, child. Are we moving to... Oh, I already answered that. Is there Is there a entity that feeds on black people's unhealed trauma? Now listen, I watched the show called Them, season 2, and that shit scared the fuck out of me, right? The first one wasn't that scary. It wasn't scary at all, actually. But the second one, oh bitch, I had a nightmare. Now, in that movie, there was an entity that was feeding off of, it took place during a time where like a lot of police brutality was going on, and even Rodney King's death. It was based loosely off of the time of Rodney King's death. And there was an entity that was once a human that had a lot of trauma. He went crazy, and then eventually he passed away. And then he's an entity that started feeding off the trauma of black people. Like, and so I want to know, like, does something like that actually exist? Because y'all know they put everything in the movies, right? Is there actually, spirit protect my energy, please. Is there actually an entity that feeds off of black people's unhealed trauma? A mother's touch, Morticia Adams. Self-reflection. I think so. Yes. And to be honest with you, I think that it's white adjacent. It's white adjacent. Yes. What the fuck? Undying patience. I think it's quite a few, actually. Look. Don't that look scary? At first glance, you see, like, they look like they have black eyes, but they're glasses. And it's like, that kind of scared me a little bit. But, I do think so. Yeah. And it's white adjacent. Y'all ever seen Lovecraft Country? And then she bought a house that belonged to a mad scientist that performed unethical experiments, and he was haunting the house. And a lot of the people that he performed experiments on were also stuck in the house along with him. And the people didn't want to be stuck in the house with their, killer anymore. So they were hunting Letty and her family. So basically letting them know, like, we're trying to escape. And it's like, I do feel like there is an entity that feeds on black communities' trauma. But see, the thing is though about that is that we're not powerless. When we start to own who we are, the entity doesn't really have any more power, or it can't feed off of our trauma anymore. The trauma is still going to exist, but we're not going to give power to where we've been, and where we are continuing to be. Once we start to figure out who we are, it's kind of like that. Like once Letty performed the seance and started performing the spell to free the spirits, he was getting weaker. the mad scientist was getting weaker, and I think she freed him too. No, she didn't free him, but like, y'all seen that show? It's a good show. Y'all should watch it. What does the black community do that amplifies or feeds cycles of our suffering? What does the black community do? What does the black community do that amplifies or feeds cycles of our suffering? The Chariot. I was just talking about this before. It's like upholding the proximity to whiteness. Like upholding the proximity to whiteness. Because y'all, like, that just shows other races of people that we don't value ourselves. And I was also going to include this in my article. How do you expect these other races to respect you, and we don't even respect ourselves? That makes no sense. That's the most backwardest shit that you could ever do. And it's like, and for the life of me, I don't understand how people get mad when other races repeat stereotypes, but then y'all act out the stereotypes. Like, for example, y'all be running up shows like Power and BMF, those gangster shows in movies. But then when a white person repeats that same stereotype that black men are hoods or hoodlums, y'all get mad. And it's like, do y'all know what type of shows that y'all be running up and creating and making successful? And my sister told me that Power was based on a true story. And that just proves my point. Like, y'all was really out here hoodlumming, and y'all still do. But, and it's like, I get it, right? I get it. Sometimes the system is set up to where sometimes we have no choice. It's either, kind of, for example, like the school to prison pipeline or something like that. But it's like, do y'all understand that y'all also have free will? You don't have to succumb to that. It's just an excuse. You don't. You have the option. You always have the option to make your life better. And that's something that our ancestors didn't have the option to do. And we take that for granted. We have so much freedom than we did before. And y'all just succumb to the system like, oh yeah, prison to school pipeline or whatever the fuck that shit is called. And it's like, again, these things have no power. These things have no power. And it's like, when are we going to take accountability and realize that we are in charge of our own destiny? And I get it, right? I get it. Like, we have been taught, like, since elementary, like, we're less than. I get it, right? But it's like, I've been taught the same things y'all been taught. And it's like, but I choose to not accept that. That's not me. That's not me. That's not my damn ancestors. And even if that was my ancestors that was on that damn boat, I'm not going to succumb to that. I'm not going to succumb to that because I wasn't there. And it's like, I have to focus on what I have in the now. And that's what my ancestors would want. That's what God would want. God would want me to take advantage of the freedom that people had to fight to get. And that's the difference between us and our ancestors. Some of them actually had the courage to fight. What are the ancestors trying to show us? Yeah. Okay, we have solitude, we have the passion in the reverse, we have family ties, and we have balance in the reverse. Okay, we have family ties, the Addams family. You know what they say about this kooky family? At the end of the day, the Addams clan is defined by their love for and loyalty towards one another. Whether it's a family you are born into or one you choose to support the loved ones is as vital as an organ in the body, especially the heart. When things look bleak, turn to your network and find the silver lining in every storm cloud. See, this is what I was saying, y'all. Like, we are coming together, but it's like, y'all must understand that some people just don't like their blackness, and they try so hard to run away, and then they're constantly reminded, oh, you're black. And it's like, Spirit is saying you might as well just go ahead and embrace it. Okay, just go ahead and claim your blackness, because that's the power. And it's like, one time I was in church and the pastor said something really interesting. The pastor said, how you know that God is talking to you is when he tells you to do something you don't want to do. And odd, right? That the things that we really need to do, we don't want to do them. And I feel like the same thing could be applied here. We have solitude. Wednesday's somber psychic gifts place you on the path of a raven, walking a lonely road. Taking time for yourself isn't selfish. There may be tasks in your life that only you can handle, so it's okay to focus inward. Surround yourself with the resources you need to succeed while you work through your latest projects and priorities. There's a need here to stand on our own and to not rely. Like I was just talking about the whole the reparations thing. Y'all, I don't think that black people are going to get their reparations from the government, and I think that we should get it out of our heads that the government is going to give us our things. Because I think we have to take it upon ourselves to take our things. They're not just going to give it to us. We're going to be waiting for a long time. We're going to be waiting for a long time if we think that the government is just going to give us our things and what we're owed. No. And we have to stick together to do it as well. It's like one person can't fight for the whole collective. That's not going to work. One person can be speaking with sense. We all have to come together and really, like, hone in. Balance. Any preparations you can make at the top to cushion your fall? Like I said, we have to use what we do have to our advantage. We can own property. We can own property. We can form our own bank accounts. We do have rights, and it's like Spirit is saying, take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Buy property and start, creating businesses that are mostly for black people. And it's like. And also, I get it, like, we could be sued for discrimination, because white people, I'm not racist, but it's so irritating that white people just will see that you're minding your own business, right? What they wish that we would do, because these bitches be like, oh, go back to your own country. And it's like, okay, well, You're ignorant, right? You're ignorant. This is my country. I was born here, okay? And my ancestors built this country, right? Whatever. But I'm gonna just go over there and I'm gonna eat my food and I'm gonna mind my business. Here comes a white person bothering you, even though they told you to mind your own business damn near and to just be quiet, be invisible, don't say nothing. Here they come. Here they motherfucking come. And it's like, it's weird saying. And then once you start creating a business for only black people, here they come yelling discrimination and racism because it's in the Constitution that you can't discriminate against anybody, regardless of the past. It's fair to say there are other ways around that. You can't make businesses for black people and get away with discrimination. They do it all the fucking time. And also, just the law just doesn't even care. Y'all know that there's a study that recently a girl was applying jobs and she generated an AI white woman and she posted her profile on LinkedIn. And this woman said, same exact resume, it's just that I was posing as a white woman. And this white woman, this AI generated white woman, was skipping the pre-screening interview process because she was white. Whereas this black woman was getting rejected left and right for the same jobs that this white woman was applying for. And it's her videos on YouTube. I recently found a snippet on Instagram, and then I watched her whole video. And now, the press is covering her story, and then I think she has a documentary out. I think she's making a documentary or whatever. But it's like, I'm glad she's, bringing awareness to the issue. But it's like, y'all need to get her a job. Y'all need to hire her and give her and allow her to bring, awareness to the situation. And it's like, they do it all the time. And I feel like I'm sure a black person could, try and figure out a way to, anyways. Next question is going to be, what wisdom from the past is being ignored when it comes to the black community? We have the Ten of Wands in reverse. We have the Ten of Wands. This might be an awkward angle, y'all. I'm so sorry. The King of Cups in the reverse. The Judgment. The King of Swords. And I feel like it has something to do with white people. Not trusting most white people. And also, not trusting most white people. Not all white people are racist and not all white people are bad. Even back then, during slavery days, there were white people that did not believe in slavery. But majority white people, but also it's like validating or upholding whiteness. It's like we have enough resources and education and tools to break out of that mindset of upholding whiteness. And I feel like because we succumb to that mindset, it's like, I feel like it further keeps us stuck. Spirit is saying nobody is willing to fight anymore. And that just goes back to what I said before. It's like, how do you expect people to respect you when you don't respect yourself as a black person? Did I say that right? How do you expect people to respect you when you don't respect yourself as a black person? We have the Ace of Cups in the reverse and we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse. That's bad. That's bad. And all these white people that are cloaked, and also Spirit is saying that as a man, if you're a black man, it is your responsibility to be at the forefront of a civil war or a civil fight. Don't argue with me. That's just what Spirit is saying. And then the women lead. But there's a feeling here of not valuing where you come from. It's like the men are the main people who try and run away where they come from. And Spirit is saying that honestly and truly, we're not really going to get anywhere because we're still in a patriarch, and black men still have male privilege, and somebody is most likely going to pay attention to what a black man has to say about their own race versus what a white woman versus what a black woman has to say about her own race. That's just the reality of it. And so to answer the question, what wisdom from the past is being ignored? The fact that a man has to lead into, and I'm not talking about, being misogynistic, because the Black Panthers were misogynistic. But I'm saying be a healthy leader, be a healthy man that leads. It's hot out here, y'all. It is fucking hot. Be a man that leads healthily. Being willing to take the initiative. And also, but there's an obstacle here. And that is when it comes to black men not having their mind right, upholding whiteness, and running away from where they come from. Black men don't like who they are. And a change, I'm not saying a change won't come because black men don't have their mind together, their mentality together. I'm saying the change is going to be delayed because black men don't have their mentality together. Because I feel like on a spiritual standpoint, they are supposed to take initiative of a civil rights war. Not black women, men. But because black women are taking the initiative, change is going to be a little delayed. What spiritual protection of grounding? What spiritual protection or grounding is needed? For the black community. I feel like it has something to do with assets, money. I feel like black people's money I feel like spiritual protection is needed when it comes to black people's money. And their emotions here, like their emotions of what am I trying to say? It's like I feel like when it comes to career and finances, that's where this most spiritual protection and groundedness is needed. Finances, you know, because I mean it has very much so has something to do with the system and the job market and all that. And also healing from the past. I feel like a lot of black people, I'm saying like a lot of black people, you know, have struggles, you know, and hardships. And I'm not saying that money does not flow easy in the black community. I'm not saying that money flows easily within the black community. I do feel like money flows more easier when you're white. But Spirit is saying, you know, a lot of black people have complex struggles and complex past experiences. And the spiritual groundedness that is needed is, I know it may sound repetitive, but not succumbing to those experiences. Being able to rise up above those experiences. And I feel like a lot of black people have the false sense of reality that, oh, as soon as I get my money, right? Y'all know that song by Kanye West. And again, I feel like it's mostly the men. There's a whole bunch of men in these cards, y'all. It's mostly the men. Because black women are out here getting their things. Black women are out here getting their things. I'm sorry, and this is not just my opinion. It's also Spirit's opinion. I didn't expect this reading to be black male centered. I didn't. I was just gonna look at the collective energy of the whole black community, but the men are showing up. It's like it's the men. And I have this false sense of reality that once they get their money right, you know, doors are just going to magically open up. And they might. But in the words of Kanye West, even when you in that band, you still a nigga. Even when you in that band, you still a nigga. The weight of it all falls down. To restate the question. The energy surrounding how they view finances and money, and also, you know, not necessarily making themselves as a victim when it comes to their past. Again, that just goes back to my point. It's like spirit is really like reiterating so many things. It's like, for one, please acknowledge that yes, you know, there might be some systemic failures, but please acknowledge that you aren't where your ancestors used to be. You have so much more opportunities. You can quite literally be anything you want. And it's fine. It's fine that your white counterpart doesn't respect you. As long as you have respect for yourself, that's all that fucking matters. It's what Spirit is saying. Nobody, in order for real change to happen, Spirit is saying that they don't need to respect you. They don't need to give you their respect. You need to take that shit. And then, of course, you know, we see in the movies, we see even in real life, even when it came to the Tulsa fire, when black community had a flourishing, you know, community, and then they went and burnt that shit down. It's like, even when something like that does happen, when white people take it upon themselves to start fucking up your shit, when they see that you're minding your own business, that's when you start fighting. That's when you get the guns a-blazing. Black people, you guys have the right to own guns. Our ancestors couldn't own guns back then. They were trading. They were sacrificing their shit for guns. Like, you can go and get yourself registered. Like, that's when you start fighting. That's when you start fighting. And it's like, but nobody wants to do that, is what Spirit is saying. So that's why Spirit is saying that that mentality needs to be grounded. Like, that's where the most spiritual protection and groundedness needs to come from. Building not a legacy per se, but building wealth inside of the community. All right, so I'm gonna ask about Dr. Umar helping to restore the community emotionally. Is Dr. Umar and all that he stands for helping to restore the Black community emotionally? I do think that he would, if there wasn't a lot of controversy surrounding him. Because I do feel like, the whole school thing, I do feel like that kind of taints his messages a little bit. Dr. Umar is trifling as fuck. And people are starting to figure him out. And now they don't really respect him as much as they used to anymore. They view him as a liar. They view him as someone that's selfish. And I also feel like, the people watch him now just to get a good laugh. I know I do. I honestly, something is off. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay attention to Dr. Umar, but once I heard that he scammed people out of their money, yeah, I definitely give him the side eye when I do, tune in to what he has to say. But mostly I just laugh. But there's a feeling here of, emotionally, I don't think that he's restoring the Black community. Spiritually, maybe. But I do feel like his controversies override what he does now. I mean, I honestly feel like, people are not going to let him forget that he scammed people out of their money. I want to stay on Dr. Umar for a second and ask about this school, because did Dr. Umar take them people money, and did he invest into a school with the people that donated to him? Did he really buy a school or invest in a school with people's money? Dr. Umar. The Nine of Pentacles. Y'all, a part of me feels like, okay, I don't think he spent all the money that people donated to him. I think a portion of it is in a bank account or something, or in some sort of, I heard trust fund. I don't know. Trust fund. I just heard trust fund. I do think that he took another portion of the money and stole it. Started spending it on personal things. Yeah. A portion of the money was stolen by him, and then another portion was put to the side. I do think that he is actually looking, or was looking, to see, I think he's gonna try and build a school from scratch. I think he's gonna try to build a school from scratch. Also, I think he's still in the social media streets, and I feel like he's budgeting his social media money and putting a percentage of his social media money back into the account. Basically trying to make up for what he spent on personal affairs. He's storing some of his social media money back into the trust fund account. All right. But I think he might actually try to build a school from scratch, like the ground up. Ain't that gonna cost more money? Why don't you just buy a property? I don't know. I mean, I'm not really that much into buying property. They say it's a smart thing to do. Maybe when I get older. But so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Maybe if I do have the money, I would want to build my own property, because I know that, I don't know, I won't have to worry about plumbing or But then if you do plumbing, it's just gonna be, if you buy a property and it has fucked up plumbing, wouldn't it just be a flat rate? You could just get the plumbing fixed. You don't have to build nothing else. Like, I don't know. Which way would be cheaper? You do your own plumbing, you build your own you know, property, and then a flat rate then, or do you just buy a property and then take your chances with the plumbing and maintenance, and then I don't know. Which one would be cheaper? I don't know. Tariq Nasheed. What about Tariq Nasheed? Is he helping to restore the Black community? Is Tariq Nasheed actually helping to restore the Black community? We have the Hierophant. We have the Nine of Cups. And we have the Knight of Cups. And we have the Two of Pentacles. And then we have the Nine of Cups. Then we have, I want to ask about Cynthia G as well. And then we have the Temperance. Do I think he's helping to restore the Black community? Yes. But see, regardless of what I say when it comes to either of them, you could lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? So regardless of what I say to any of them, it's up to us of whether we want to receive what they're saying and implement it into our lives. Do I think that I think he's helping more than Umar. I think that he's helping more than Umar. I feel like people watch Umar now just to get a laugh and to make fun of him and to harass him about that school. That's about it. I do think he's doing more than Umar. And do I think the ancestors are pleased with Tariq Nasheed? I don't know. I do think that they use him sometimes. But me personally, if you want my honest opinion, I wouldn't trust either of these niggas. I wouldn't trust either of these niggas. But I do think that Tariq Nasheed has gotten better with his delivery, and I feel like he's adapted a more serious persona, whereas, you know, so that people could take him more seriously. I think he's trying. I do think he's trying. But there's a feeling here of, but I do think that there needs to be a call for humbleness, because I do feel like he has a big ego. All these men are sitting on a throne or sitting on some sort of chair. We have the Emperor. Is he an Aries or a Taurus or a Cancer maybe, or a Pisces? He might be a Cancer, maybe. Or is he a Gemini or Libra? What's the other air sign? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There you go. I don't think he's an Aquarius. I don't think so. But I do think that he's trying, but I do think he has a big ego. Is he a Leo? He might be a fire sign or an air sign. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And maybe a Cancer. But I don't think so. I'm leaning more towards fire, or a Taurus, or air. Anyway, I do think that the spirit wants him to be a little bit more humble, and I do think that over time, though, he has adopted a more serious persona, so people could take him more seriously. But I think he keeps his money to himself. I think he keeps his money to himself. He feels like, you know what, like, donations, thank you. And it's like, if you would like, it's more so like ministry. Yeah. It's more so like ministry based. It's almost it's like church. Like, I'm giving you this knowledge, I'm dropping this knowledge, you come to see me, and I'm gonna pass the collection plate around, and I'm gonna use this is my money, because y'all fuck with me, this is my money, and I'm gonna use it however I want to. If I choose to feed the homeless, if I choose to put it towards my bills, if I choose to put it towards, you know, equipment for my YouTube, it's my money. You know. So I will say, you know, his content may not be money based. Yeah, I do think that he is good with his own finances. Tariq may have been broke or came from, you know, a difficult background where he was like poor or didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so I do think that he's in control of his finances because of that. Anyways, what about the FBA movement? Does the ancestors approve of the FBA movement, the foundational? Oh, FBA movement, the foundational Black American movement. Do the ancestors approve of the foundational Black American movement? Okay, the Eight of Wands flipped in the reverse. The Eight of Cups. No. No. Damn. Yeah, Spirit is saying no. No. Spirit is saying you're not gonna get anywhere. I don't really quite understand the movement, but my guess is okay. And this is actually a question I'm gonna ask. Africans and African Americans are at odds with each other. I guess the FBA movement is about, the fact that Black Americans built the United States, built the country, and Tariq Nasheed believes in reparations and Black people getting their things, right? And I guess Spirit is saying no, that they don't agree with the FBA movement because, like I mentioned earlier, getting what's owed to us is not going to come into a form that we think. We can't rely on the government to give us what we are owed. We have to take it ourselves. So for that reason, Spirit views Tariq as, someone that's whining, someone that is someone that really doesn't understand, that's not really thinking clearly when it comes to going about Black people getting their reparations. These cards smell weird. I don't know. They've always smelled like this, but I could smell them now because it's windy, but like I could smell them. Like I don't know what that smell is. It kind of smells like chemicals mixed with a little bit of, I don't know, like glass. Y'all know what glass smells like? Like what a window smells like? It smells like a window mixed with chemicals. I don't know. Just don't necessarily approve. They feel like he's not thinking clearly. And it's like both Black Americans and Africans are at a disadvantage. What's the point of dividing yourself? And also they view him as lazy, like when it comes to this type of content that he puts out, when it comes to the FBA movement, they view him as like lazy. It's like, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like now Tariq Nasheed's content is FBA based and arguing with people on social media and trying to prove to them that Black Americans deserve it all. And Spirit is saying that he barely does anything anymore. Like he put out that one documentary and those few books and that was it. Spirit is saying that there's more work that needs to be done and he needs to dig deeper when it comes to his research. Spirit is saying he needs to get like young Pharoh. Young Pharoh, despite him going, we gonna ask about him too, despite him going crazy, right, despite him falling off the wagon completely, he actually put in the work and he wasn't lazy. Spirit is saying that young Pharoh is more qualified than any of these niggas, but he went off the rails. What about Cynthia G? How do the ancestors and how does Spirit feel about Cynthia G and what she's doing for the Black community? The World card in the reverse. The Five of Wands. The Chariot. And we have the Lovers. Okay. Yeah. The ancestors don't like what she's doing. But Spirit does. The ancestors don't like what she's doing, but Spirit does. Okay. So how they feel about Cynthia G and what she's doing for the Black community. I see both the ancestors and Spirit here, I think, okay. Both of them don't think she's lying. Both of them think she's telling the truth. However, the ancestors are like, but she's dividing everybody. And that's not what we need right now. But Spirit is like, yeah, she's backed up by Spirit, but you're delivering a whole bunch of, the ancestors feel like you're delivering a whole bunch of information to thousands of people. And it's like there's a good 40% of those women that'll take what you're saying and start distancing themselves from Black men, and that's not what we need. And then the other 60% is like, fuck her, we don't care about what she's talking about. Like she's mean, she's evil spirited, like she needs to just disappear. And Spirit is saying, I'm not gonna lie, I do think that when she got taken off of YouTube, I feel like it's because Spirit felt like she was dividing the people, and that wasn't something that Spirit didn't want her to stand in their way when it comes to bringing Black people together. So when she got taken off of YouTube, I feel like that was a divine thing. I feel like it was, divinely guided. How did I get on that? I don't even remember how I got on that. Anyways, Yeah, Spirit is saying that when she got taken off of YouTube, that was divinely guided. She had to get taken off of YouTube because things are gonna happen, and the Black community need to stick together. No division, no division. The Black community needs to start sticking together. But Spirit is saying that Spirit is backing her up. Like, you are administering valuable information, and she's level-headed. She does have her head on right. You know, I don't see any greed, or I don't see any, what these other niggas got. I don't see no ego. I don't see any greed when it comes to her energy. It's mostly just Spirit saying, like, we don't need any division. We don't need any more division amongst the Black community. We all need to come together. Oh, shit. Why isn't that? Oh, you know what? I think it's because my table is like it's, what is it, like, it has dips, like it's welded, it's welting because it's been in the fucking whatchamacallit, it's been in the rain. Arnie. What about young Pharoh? Young Pharoh. How does Spirit and the ancestors feel about young Pharoh? Yeah, like I said, Spirit feels like young Pharoh, but just things happen. Things happen with the hangman here. Spirit feels like young Pharoh was capable of leading the next generation, but he got into some shit, and literally everybody, when I asked about all these leaders, the Three of Swords came out. I do feel like his audience, okay, they're mixing his era, his prime, with the nostalgia of 2016, 2015, 2014, etc., etc. They're like, when they think about young Pharoh, his audience or his past followers, they think about that time in general when things just, everybody seemed happier, and his fans are very nostalgic. I liked his content, actually, y'all. I would watch him. I was a little late to the party. I think I started watching him at around 2023. Is when, after he went off the rails, bitch. And Spirit is backing him up. Spirit is like, like he had it in him. He had the power to minister. He's what the church people call anointed, if you will. But we all have free will, and he got himself caught into some shit, and that overrided what he was meant to do on this earth. Collective healing required. Working together, and also, what's the Ace of Swords? Can you clarify the Ace of Swords? Spirit is saying, okay, yeah. Spirit is saying that Black people get so defensive, and Spirit is saying that actually listening to, having discernment and listening to people who have sense. Spirit is also saying that the Black community needs to stop being so misogynistic. I do think that a Black man is most likely going to be listened to versus a Black woman. I think that the Black community is very misogynistic amongst their own, and also, of course, stop the prejudice amongst each other, and also actually listen to people who have sense. Use your discernment and listen to people who have sense. Also, don't put so much faith into a Black leader, like, for example, a Tariq Nasheed. Nothing against him, but it's like, I'm just using him as an example. When someone takes it upon themselves to lead the Black community, don't put them on a pedestal. Don't put so much faith, because someone is always going to disappoint. Always. You can't put so much faith in a stranger, because people can always disappoint you, and then what? You're back at square one. It's like, chew the meat, spit out the bones, and not perfect. People are not perfect, and don't allow yourself to get disappointed when you find out that somebody is not perfect. Yeah. Is God helping? Is God helping us in union? Is God helping the Black community in union? Is God helping the Black community in union? Yes. 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 We have the 10 of cups, and we have the 4 of wands. Yes. And it's gonna be messy, y'all. It's gonna be messy. Things are gonna get worse before they get better. Spirit is saying that they're taking out the weak ones. They're taking out the weaklings. I don't know how, y'all, but Spirit is saying that they're getting rid of the weaklings first before the Black community comes into complete union. Alrighty, you didn't hear from me. Why don't Africans like Black Americans? Why don't Africans like Black Americans? The moon. 5 of Swords. Yeah, okay. It does have something to do with stereotypes. I feel like when Africans come to this country, I feel like when Africans come to the US, they don't like the stereotypes that's enforced upon them when it comes to Black Americans. They try their best to, other themselves, because we're not like that. We're not like Black Americans. We're not like that. Even when you in that binge, you still a nigga. No, I'm just saying. They don't like the stereotypes that comes with being Black. And also the things that they see on TV when it comes in their country, in their continent. It's like they have like mixed opinions about Black people, about African Americans. Also, I do feel like in schools, their history is taught, like they get taught different things in history classes. I feel like they get taught to not like Black Americans. I feel like they get taught in school to not like Black Americans. See? We have the 2 of Swords and we have the 6 of Cups. I feel like they get conditioned from a very early age to not like Black Americans. Or they get fed, seeds get planted in their mind, and then once they do come to the US, honestly, I feel like they get taught to outwork and to outdo Black Americans once they go to the US. If they even decide to move to the US, they get taught to outdo Black Americans. That's interesting. And so these babies are not even given a chance to form their own opinions about Black Americans. They're taught from an early age, you need to be better than them. Interesting. Y'all, let me know if this is true, if that actually happens. Let me know. Untapped potential and strength. Black communities, what is the Black community's greatest untapped potential? And then what about strength? Magic, candles. Then we have balance. Untapped potential. I feel like this has like something to do with science. Yesterday I watched a video, and there was this Black girl. I guess she likes, sci-fi and science and stuff. And I don't think I liked the video because I didn't like how she was talking. She was creeping me out a bit. She was overstimulating me a bit. But she said that recently a scientist, she didn't say who or what race they were. They said, she explained that all molecules, every object has molecules, and they all go one direction. She said recently a scientist discovered that molecules can be switched into a different direction. And she said the scientist stated that it's dangerous and it shouldn't be done. But I honestly feel like it has something to do with this. This balance card has something to do with that. Like very science-based, like being able to time travel. Y'all seen that show Lovecraft Country, when I think it was Dee, which was the mother of the little girl that knew how to draw. She traveled to different dimensions, and also she traveled to different dimensions, and she was able to do so because she was Black. And while she was traveling into these different dimensions, she realized who she was. I don't know what she was exactly. It's been a long time since I watched it, but she was a magical being, and she didn't necessarily operate in that mentality until she discovered the time machine and she was able to travel amongst all these different dimensions. It's like something like that, y'all, with the balance card here. And also, a lot of y'all don't know this, but like when celebrities, like especially the white vultures, right? When celebrities, you know, dibble and dabble into that, you know, occultic shit, and for some reason, celebrities get demons put inside them. Beyonce, Doja Cat, for whatever reason. And sometimes to call upon certain demons and deities, you need to have melanin. Beyonce, the specific demon which is Sasha Fierce, the entity that possesses Beyonce from time to time, was called upon, and you needed to have melanin in order to do it. And so, like just like in the movie, just like in the show Lovecraft Country, those white motherfuckers knew magic. And when it came to Atticus, they needed Atticus's blood. They needed Atticus's blood to get the time machine, as well as get the journal that his grandfather had left. His grandfather owned slaves, and his grandfather impregnated a black woman, which was also his grandma, and then his blood. They needed his blood to perform their rituals. They needed his blood. And it's like, black people could change dimensions, is the greatest untapped potential. Melanin is basically like it serves as a visa in the spiritual world. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Melanin serves as a visa in the spiritual realm when it comes to the strength magic. There's two cards that are indicated here when it comes to magic, and it's so sad because black people think that practicing magic is demonic. Meanwhile, the government uses it against you. And the government was the one that told you that it's bad. But they use it against you. How do other races feel about black women? King of Coins in the reverse. The Three of Pentacles in the reverse. The Chariot in the reverse. What the fuck? Damn. The Three of... Oh, okay. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit, y'all? Okay. Okay, and then how do other races feel about black men? We have the Three of Wands in the reverse. We have the Four of Swords. Five of Cups, and we have the Knight of Wands. And then we have the Strength. Oh, wow. Okay. I'll tell you one thing, and this isn't not me glazing, I'm just telling you what the cards see, so don't come for me. Other races like black women just a tiny bit better than they like black men. I'm gonna start with black women first. They think that black women's men are broke. They have no providers. These other races want nothing to do with black women. Hence why I said most, right? There are still some races that have passion for black women. There's still some people out there who have passion for black women, and it's weird. Some of those races, when it comes to the men specifically, they don't like black women, but they'll fuck them. They'll fuck us. They'll sleep with us, but don't expect nothing else. Don't expect nothing else. Don't expect a loving partnership. You're silly to expect, as a black woman, you're silly to expect a loving partnership. You they have no problem with using and exploiting us. They have no problem with sleeping with us, but they're not going to offer anything more than that. Some of us see that black women are grinding. Some of us seeing that black women are getting their coins, and there is a little bit of passion here, with the Ace of Wands. But most of these non-black races, they don't want nothing to do with us. They don't like us. But I feel like it's not as bad as the black men. We're gonna move on to the black men. Quite frankly, most of these non-races want black men to not exist. They want black men back in the field. And I feel like a lot of things, there's a lot of reasons why other races, and I'm specifically picking up other races of men don't like black men because they're jealous. And I honestly feel like it has something to do, like, these black men be taking their wives sometimes. Their counterparts be fetishizing black men, and a part of them is jealous. Another part of them wishes that they're back in the field. This is awful. This is really awful. Like, they wish that black men would just disappear completely. Like, y'all see this? Like, this person is in a bear trap. Like, child, I just feel like it has something to do with racism. I mean, not racism, jealousy, intimidation. But again, it has something to do with the genitalia, the black male genitalia. It's weird. It's like a lot of people have a weird fucking obsession with the black male genitalia. And I can't 100% blame them, because black men feel like black men allow the BBC to be their whole fucking personality. Like, it's weird. It's almost as if they want to be fetishized. It's almost as if they feel like that's all they have to offer is BBC. And it's like, that's weird on both parts. Anyways, other races of men just wish that black men cease to exist, and other races don't want to deal with black women, mostly. But I see some people warming up to black women, excuse me, warming up to black women, and some of them they will willingly fuck a black woman, but won't offer them any sort of commitment or any sort of loving partnership or connection. It's weird. This is fucked up. But again, Spirit is saying that we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need other races of people to be on our side. Will culture vultures, when it comes to pop culture, cease to exist? Will culture vultures disappear? This is the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. Will culture vultures disappear? Not completely. No. Not completely. Because there's still going to be black people that are pick-me's, that give into, that give into the persona. And for example, if you don't know what a culture vulture is, take DJ Vlad, for example. Take Drake, for example. Take Kim Kardashian, for example. The whole Kardashian clan. Those are culture vultures. Who else? I honestly will argue and say Nicki and Cardi B are culture vultures, but that's up for debate, I suppose. I still think that they are. In my book, they are. And the fact that Nicki got away with capitalizing off of the Asian community for so long is ridiculous. Can I just say this for a second? Just because Nicki's not even Asian. Nicki's not even Asian. And tell me why that bitch... Why does she have... And that's a rookie mistake for somebody who is not Asian to do. She has Chinese on her arm, but she always dibbled and dabbled. She has Chinese written on her arm, but she always dibbled and dabbled into Japanese culture. And Chinese culture too. Wearing kimonos and shit. It's like she dibbled and dabbled in all sorts of South Asian culture. And that's a common mistake for people who aren't very versed when it comes to Asian culture. You could tell that this bitch ain't Asian because she never sticks to one Asian culture. And it's like, just because she has those eyes. Do you know my brother has those eyes? And his parents are black and even more black. I met Hispanic people at my school who have those eyes, and they get made fun of. They would literally get made fun of by their Hispanic peers because their eyes didn't look like their Hispanic peers. But guess what? Their parents were Hispanic and even more Hispanic. That person had no Asian whatsoever. And it's like, my point is, anybody can have those eyes, and just because you have those eyes does not make you Asian. Hello? She might be South Asian, but South Asian is not. South Asian is not Asian, bitch. South Asian is not the Asian, the Pacific Islanders. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. And people allowed her to capitalize off of Asian culture, and she's not Asian. Well, at least not the Asian that she portrays herself to be. Anyways, Nicki Minaj is a culture vulture. So is Cardi B. Next question. Next caller. In the words of Kaya. This is my last question, y'all. What does the next generation bring? What does the next generation of black people bring? Where my West Indies? Where my curry chicken rice? Where my Cantonese? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 5 of swords in the reverse. They breaking generational curses, y'all. The next generation of black people are breaking generational curses. They're going to be a different breed. I'm talking about, we don't believe in hitting our kids. We don't believe in we believe in soft parenting. Very much so, we believe in soft parenting. The way that we grew up and the way that we were raised is very traumatizing, and we don't want to inflict that same way of parenting on our kids, because we know how that felt. I do feel like that there's going to be a lot more mixed children. I do feel like there's going to be a lot more mixed children. And I do feel like the new generation is not going to happen. I feel like the birth rates are going to drop. I feel like the birth rates are going to drop. Either people are just not going to get pregnant, or they might get pregnant and then spirit is going to, y'all don't get triggered. Okay, this is just what I'm seeing in the cards. Spirit is going to take the baby back. It's going to take the baby back. And also, because this is my first time ever hinting at abortion. Hinting at a miscarriage or an abortion in these cards, except when I talk about Roe versus Wade. But I only talk about Roe versus Wade because I'm critiquing how women acted in that era. Like, I'm sorry, I'm pro-choice, I am, but it's still astounding. After 4 years later, it's astounding how they put so much fight into Roe versus Wade. That's where they drew the line. That's crazy how that's where you drew the line when it came to infringement, when it came to your civil rights. That is crazy as fuck to me. Like, it's still astounding till this day. I'm still shocked that y'all brought y'all asses, y'all teeter-tottering asses outside and fought to be able to kill a child. But y'all can't motherfucking fight for more healthier food. Y'all can't fight for less misogynistic and racial rhetoric. Y'all literally relish in that shit, like black men and women alike. Not black, like all women and all men alike. Like, y'all literally relish in high bills and in high interest rates and in high rent. Like, y'all literally just take that shit. But y'all draw the line at being able to have abortions. That's astounding to me. That is astounding to me till this day. Anyways, that's what I see, y'all. I'm gonna end this reading here because I'm getting pissed off. I am getting pissed off. Okay, so I'll see y'all next time. Okay, bye.